YouTube, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the show. Look, XRP is literally days away from the biggest TradeFi integration event we are about to see. CME Futures, $1 trillion ETF issuer, all lining up at the same exact moment. This isn't hype, it's structure forming right under the market's nose. Stick with me, because what I'm about to show you, it's going to change the entire XRP roadmap. Make sure you hit that thumbs up, folks. It is the ultimate way to support the channel. And guess what? It's free. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, now's the time to subscribe. And we're going to start right here. The move that nobody is paying attention to. The one that always ends up mattering the most. The CME. They just filed to list a spot. Yes, a spot quoted XRP's future. November 25th is the day. That's not some maybe one day filing. That's a locked in date on the biggest regulated derivatives venue on the planet. And they didn't just slap together a rough contract. This thing is polished. 250 units per contract, pegged directly to the CME's XRP USD benchmark, fully cash settled, institutional friendly, and it's set to trade on CME Globex. They also got Sol futures lined up right besides it. It's like they're building an entire crypto suite. Now remember, the CME, they do one thing. They build infrastructure only when there is institutional demand. That's right. So when you see spot quoted XRP futures on their menu, that's not a coincidence. No, that is a signal. And that brings us straight into the big one. It's right here. Franklin Templeton. That's right. This is where the title becomes real. Frankie T, we call him around here. A $1.6 trillion giant. They are days away from potentially launching their spot XRP ETF. Their amended S1, it was filed earlier this month, removing the delaying cause, and they position themselves on an auto-effective track. This is the exact same legal structure that preceded its recent accelerated crypto ETF approvals. Your Canary XRP, your Canary Solana, HBAR, Litecoin, this is the exact same setup. Analysts are pointing to the window, November 14th, which is today, the making of this video, all the way until November 18th, which is Tuesday of next week. No trading date yet confirmed or locked in, but the filing, it tells you the story. Now, let me put this into a little context for you. Canary Capital, who just launched the spot ETF, their ticker that did $58 million in its opening day. Very impressive, but remember, Canary is super small. No deep distribution channels, no global pipelines. Frankie T, this is a different universe. We're talking retirement funds, pension funds, institutional allocators, legacy wealth. When they enter a market, liquidity here, it won't trickle in. It is going to flood in. And now zoom out, because the week after, CME futures, right? Canaries. ETF's going to be live. Frankie T's lining up with it. A cluster of other issuers like Bitwise is right behind them, along with 21 shares. This is exactly what a coordinated liquidity on-ramp looks like, which is exactly why the next message, it's perfectly timed. iTrustCapital. Look, if you're one of those people who don't plan to trade your crypto, swap your crypto, you're just going to hold it and cash out your crypto, and you're always worried about, I'll lose my mind if my wallet got hacked, or if I click on a bad link, or if I connect to a bad contract, you should be using iTrustCapital's premium custody account. It's a closed loop system, meaning no random external wallet risk, no shady withdrawal paths, no exposure to things you don't control. Your crypto can only withdraw to your bank account, period. Institutional custody you get with them through Fidelity, Coinbase, and Fireblocks. Award-winning US support right out of California. No monthly fees, no annual fees, no onboarding or exit fees, and just a simple 1% buy and sell fee. One of the cheapest ones out there. So if you're holding a long-term bag, whether it be XRP or Bitcoin, whatever it might be, this is the place. You put it all in so you can stop stressing about hacks and exit scams. My link's down below. Hey, use my link, fund your account, you get a free $100. Nothing wrong with that. Now let's talk about this article posted on XRPrightnow.com. Your only crypto source for everything Ripple and XRP. You see the scary headlines out there. XRP just made a death cross. Oh no. Well, let's talk about what it really means. Because as Twitter and your Bitcoin maxis are saying, this is XRP's funeral, it's not. Historically, death crosses, they show up at the end of weakness, not at the beginning. So here's what we got going right now. You can see it up on your screen. We'll highlight the section. The 50-day, 100-day, and 200-day moving averages, they've all converged into a nasty resistance ceiling around the 255 to 260 range. That tells you one thing. Every rally is getting sold. Smart money is waiting for that catalyst. Downside supports, we've spoken about them on this channel and on my other channel, the Bullwinkle Blueprint. Anywhere from $2.20 to $1.80. Major support sitting down there. Sure, price can dip in those levels, but here's the crazy part. This exact pattern, this compression plus this death cross, plus this resistance attack, it is the same structure that XRP printed before every major macro catalyst in previous cycles. We're sitting in the quiet part of the chart, the pressure cooker zone, the load the spring event zone. Stop looking at the daily chart and worrying about what XRP is doing every single minute of every single day. Step back for a second. Pay attention to your longer time frames. Look at a monthly, look at a weekly. Stop paying attention to your dailies and your 4 hours and even your 15-minute charts, which brings us right into the next section. The SEC, that's right, quietly pushed out guidance. Yeah, crazy to even think about. The SEC is pushing out guidance. Jay Clayton did nothing, Gary Gensler did nothing. But now they're pushing out guidance to speed up the effectiveness on filings. It's basically a fast track mechanism to clear a backlog. Issuers who didn't use the 8A trick now they have a way to get into this market immediately once their paperwork flips effective. See what happens when they get back to work? You know why they did this? Because they have so many approvals sitting on their desk, they don't want to go through them all. So they're pushing out guidance so these people can auto-improve themselves as long as they check off every box on the list. Who's next in line? Well, Bitwise, the one who launched Solana, they're going to be launching an XRP, and Frankie T. This entire month, your month of November, the second half of this month is turning into an ETF cluster. And historically, when the SEC approves one, they approve a wave. Your momentum, it's shifting at the regulatory level, exactly where you want it to shift. You can feel it, folks. It brings us over to this, NASDAQ. That's right. This is the inflection point. It's not just filings. No. The NASDAQ CEO, Ms. Friedman, she sat down with Ripple's president, Monica Long, at Ripple's Swell event. Remember that? To talk about unlocking digital asset infrastructure for the future financial system. This is not a casual meeting. She was at Swell for a reason. This is the head of one of the world's most important exchanges, sitting beside Ripple's leadership at Ripple's flagship event to kick off the event, which set the tone for the rest of the event, right? They're talking about the integration. That's not PR, everyone. That is alignment. And then Smoke wants you to hear this. Talking about NASDAQ. Listen up. If we can get it to blow up here, it's coming. Let's do a little close. Let's see. It's coming. A little bit of a delay. Look, as this is loading and we can start listening to it, NASDAQ highlighted the ISO 20022 ready assets, XRP and HBAR, the assets built for messaging, folks, payments, and compliance-friendly settlement. Let's see, we might get it. There we go.
And in between, we had to be super patient. It was really a Bitcoin year a lot, although after the election, the idea of smart contract platforms and other growth-oriented digital assets gained favor. They have much more to benefit from a new regulatory pavement. So Ethereum sprang back to life, a lot of other layer ones, a lot of DeFi protocols. So the CoinDesk 20 index ended up 88% on the year. The top performers of current constituents were on nobody's bingo card, right? Ripple and Stellar and HBAR. So a lot of the names that were where there was excitement in the beginning of the year sort of switched places. So it was a very strong year, and it really provided a launch pad for 2025.
And here we got another one.
Blockchain brought trustlessness to an industry that requires trust. And for institutional adoption, we sort of have to bring trust to trustlessness, right? And collateral management, custody, execution quality, knowing who your counterparty is, a lot of bilateral derivatives are going to explode in volume, right? It's not only just going to be centralizing fiat for blockchain assets, it's going to be all kinds of trading And a lot of that for institutional adoption is going to require familiar levels of trust. Right. So that has to be married back. Index investing, I think our biggest theme last year was that people didn't know what to do after Bitcoin. And I think many people still don't. And most people probably shouldn't, right? 5%ers who are going to spend 5% of their investment time thinking about crypto and maybe even allocating 1 or 2 or 3%. Shouldn't spend the time necessary to decide whether it's going to be Solana or Sui.
I think the infrastructure plays are interesting.
Right? But which one, right? Which one's going to reign supreme? Again, I don't think anybody had Ripple and Stellar on their bingo cards for best performance.
Yeah, no one had XRP and XLM on their bingo card except us. Look, they don't highlight these coins like they just did by accident. They spotlight assets that they think are going to matter. And XRP, it's right on top of that list, which brings us to Michael Saylor, because he just went on CNBC. You know what he said? He's buying more Bitcoin. You're scared because the price is going down. It's in the $90,000 region, and for some reason, you're afraid. $90,000 for Bitcoin. Let that sink in for a second, folks. We're going so much higher.
Michael, given where Bitcoin's trading right now, are you buying?
We are buying. We're buying quite a lot. We'll actually report our next buys on Monday morning. I think people will be pleasantly surprised. In fact, we've been accelerating our purchases.
Are you ever not buying, Michael?
No, we're always buying. Bitcoin's always a good investment.
But no, that's interesting, though, in terms of buying today at $95,364 versus buying 2 or 3 weeks ago. You're saying you were buying it at both. What's, if you were to look over the last year, sort of at your average, do you weight the buying based on trading?
We now own nearly 3.1% of the network, and we bought it on a blended average about $74,000 a coin.
So 74,000 is his average. Look, Sailor's buy, it's not a trade. This is your signal. He knows where this goes. He's going to go down as one of the smartest people in the digital asset space when this thing is all said and done. Eric Trump's even telling this thing's going to $1 million at some point. He doesn't care that the price is down to 94,000. It doesn't faze him. He's still buying. He's still accumulating. And that leads us to the drama, because we see fake news going around. Sailor selling because they see all of this movement from his wallet. Dude, he's not selling. This is fake. This is not what he's doing. They're moving, they're shifting things around, and there's nothing wrong with that. He's on TV, national TV, telling you that he is still buying Bitcoin, and they are going to announce on Monday what they just purchased. You see rumors like this, man, ignore them. Just ignore them all. They're all fake. And then everyone loves talking about 4-year cycles, but that model, it's dead. When we got the ETFs, the 4-year cycle died. Why? Because institutions are here. These ETFs alive and crazy amount of money. Every single day will flood into these institutions. That is how you break away from a 4-year cycle. I mean, look at the setup right now. You got the CME onboarding XRP. You have ETFs clustering. You have the SEC clearing its backlog. We know there's over 150 ETFs that are waiting for their approval. You have ISO 20022 getting spotlighted out there. You got the macro buyers loading up, and you got TradeFi giants lining up to get themselves XRP exposure. This foundation has never been stronger. We're not waiting for catalysts anymore. We are surrounded by the catalyst. So when you look at everything side by side between the CME futures, Frankie T's EFT window from now until Tuesday, NASDAQ's alignment with the regulatory shifts that are happening, your technical setup, it becomes obvious what is happening. This isn't noise. This isn't hopium. This is a coordinated reset of how XRP fits into the global financial system. The timing is lining up, the filings are all lining up, and the infrastructure lines up as well. And in a market that is this tightly coiled, it doesn't take much for this thing to print a major green candle to the upside. Stay locked in, because these next 2 weeks leading up to December 1st, this might be the rally and the setup that we have been looking for. Make sure you hit that thumbs up on your way out, subscribe to the channel. Check out iTrustCapital, folks, if you wanna. Stress-free, no worry, digital asset holding platform, institutional custody. I'm gonna leave it like that.